Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Another Alviso. And in case you're new to the channel, this is a weekly practice crit, and I have a long-standing rivalry with my frenemy, Brian, who is the Team California team captain. So today's a proper 2 versus 2. He brought out his teammate, Alex, and I brought out my teammate, Chris. So this is an exciting one. I've been looking forward to posting this video for a long time because in case you missed the last video I posted, I got my teeth kicked in pretty good when they beat up on me 2 versus 1. So I'm back this week, and Chris and I are extra motivated to see if we can pull out the win on the Team California boys. So after just a lap or two of today's crit, I decide put in this attack. And I know that Alex is on my wheel. I know that he's 9 times out of 10 going to follow me. And this is intentional. I want to see if he's going to work with me, because I remember back to a few weeks ago when him and I got away in a 2-man breakaway, and after some pretty awesome cat and mouse, I was able to pull out the win. So I put in this little effort here, get some separation, and then I elbow him through. But yeah, he he's not going for it this time. So little tester there just to see where we're at, and put my feelers out, see what I should expect for the rest of the race. Now, without Alex working, that little breakaway group I was in was doomed to get caught. But right when we get caught, there goes my teammate Chris. And I just immediately swing off to the right because that's the downwind sheltered side. Let these other people chase, the people that missed it. This is a pretty good technique, this attack-counterattack, for a couple of reasons. First of all, when Chris goes like this, he's taking the pressure off me. And I was obviously needing some rest after being off the front for a little bit. And also, if you can time it just right, as a team, you always have somebody off the front. So your competition's always in this position where they're on the back foot. They always have to chase something down. Otherwise, they risk, a breakaway getting away without them in it. This puts you and your team in a position where you can kind of dictate the speed, the rhythm, the cadence of the race, and it's on your terms. So, if an attack goes and you're not part of it, and you're super tired, kind of tough luck. You have to respond to that move whether you like it or not. And so Chris gets caught here. I got a pretty good draft in the headwind section, and I winded up to go to attacking around him. But I remember this now. So Chris is a beast, and he just goes again. And because I was on his wheel, I just sat up, let that gap open, and forced the people behind me to either chase or let Chris open another gap. And sure enough, Chris gets caught about a lap later. I've been sitting in. I'm fresh. Been in people's draft while they were chasing, and here I come navigating through this pack to put in another attack. You starting to see a pattern here? See, I think there's a misconception. People think, oh, so you're a sprinter, you must just sit in the whole race, wait for the final 200 meters. And I guess if nobody ever attacked and breakaways were never a threat, I'd probably just do that, just wait for the last 200 meters and save my legs for the sprint. But that's not how racing works, and especially in the P12 field, that's not how racing works. The problem is, see, there's all these guys who are super fast, but not necessarily great at sprinting. So their whole plan is to not let it come down to a field sprint. Instead, they want to establish a breakaway, drop the riders like myself who would otherwise beat them in a sprint. And if I want to win, I can't let them do that. So it's this constant tug of war. I'm looking at which riders are, and from which teams are attacking, and constantly making a decision whether or not it's worth chasing. My teammate Chris is doing the same, and he's even better at it because he is one of these breakaway guys. He's especially good at identifying those moments when the field is likely to let him sneak away. So when I attack like this, it's mainly to take the pressure off my teammate and allow him to rest, because the next one might be the one. People are less likely to chase if they have to keep chasing and chasing and chasing with each counterattack. So when I'm off the front, this might work. Like, I might get the right composition of guys to come together and work with me in a breakaway. But, the main reason I do this is to support Chris, allow him to sit in the wheels for a little bit, rest, and gather himself for the next counterattack. And if I remember correctly, yep, there he goes. So now I get to chill and rest. Well, I have to jump on Brian's wheel first, but then I get to chill and rest. And after a few kilometers of sitting on Brian's wheel, here comes Alex out of the pack. So this is this is quickly becoming the Team Tehran versus Team California show. because now I can't let Alex get away from Team California. That will force Chris and I to have to sit at the front and chase. But this was a good move by Alex because they were probably tired of chasing Chris and I down each time. And, you know, like I said before, it's so much better to be the aggressor than just the team or the individual that reacts to everything, because, you know, as the aggressor, you get to dictate the terms of the race, and you're not forced into this potential race-losing situation where you are, you know, having to respond to an attack when you don't have the legs. But if you're attacking, it's always within your limits, within your control. So this is a good example of what I was talking about, because... Oh yeah, I remember this. Okay, so somebody was saying, don't just let it go, and I'm like, yeah, let it go, because Chris is off the front, and I'm just sitting in the wheels here, forcing Team California and whoever else missed it to drive it on the front, and I'm just getting a free ride, so this is like a win-win, right? Chris, obviously strong enough to get away by himself. Oh, Brian's putting in a hard effort here, and I definitely need to jump on this. So Chris is strong enough. He's demonstrated that he can win from a break pretty easily if you let him get a gap, and I'm pretty good from a field sprint, so you put your competition in this difficult situation where, you know, they're damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. And then right as we catch, I just decide, why not go again? Brian's towed me up to Chris, and why not put them in an awkward situation again, give Chris some rest, and yeah, I mean, I'll be a broken record, but this is such a good tactic, you guys. Go out there with your teammates. Practice races, group rides, races, whatever, doesn't matter. Just get this skill dialed. I promise you're going to get results as a team. All right, so after another 20 minutes or so of Tayroon and Team California chasing each other down, we arrive at the last lap. Actually, this is a little over last lap because I want to show you exactly how this last lap plays out. It's pretty exciting. So Chris jumps across right there with one more rider in tow to a couple of riders who are already off the front, and he makes the junction. So the one important detail about that is it's notably missing Team California. But they're too smart to let Chris get off the front, especially with a couple other guys on the last lap. So here comes Brian with a gnarly attack to jump across. And I would usually be on that as quick as possible, but Brian timed it really well through that the exit of that corner. And instead I jump on this guy in the orange bike who seems determined to stitch it all back together. I get a little lucky in that regard, but I think the one small mistake that Team California makes right here is the hesitation. See, Chris already has a gap, and although Brian's attack was timed really well, it's man, that's really hard to jump across on the last lap. You're using a lot of energy, so I can pretty much rule out Brian for the sprint here, and I know that if he does get up to Chris, my teammate up the road, then Chris is going to shut it down, and he's not going to do any work. So orange bike elbows me through. No way I'm going for that. I want an armchair ride up to the front of the race here because I'm trying to save my legs for the sprint. And I'm sure that Alex, who's on my wheel, is thinking the same thing. So as this predictable counter goes, I'm going to jump on that, continue getting a good draft here as riders try to bridge up to my teammate. And as we come around this corner, I get a glimpse at what's going on up the road. Brian has made the junction, and I know that my teammate is not going to be doing any more work. He's not going to tow Brian, the stronger sprinter, to the line. So now I am confident it's coming back together for a field sprint. Time to save energy. Thanks for the final pull, my dude. I'm going to do a little effort right here to jump across this little gap to these guys who are still chasing the front of the race. Now you can see it. Riders have dropped. There are only 3 up the road. One is Team California, one is Team Tayroon. Alex and I are both in the same mode, save your legs. Save your legs for the sprint, which means no unnecessary efforts, no accelerations, and always remaining in somebody's draft, which is looking really good right here as these chasing riders are bridging the last few meters up to my teammate Chris. And as they come by them here and make the pass, I just stay on their wheel, continue getting this epic draft, continue saving my legs for the finish. But what ends up happening is I end up just a little bit too close to the front here. I don't want to be third wheel with still 1,400 meters to go. So I'm looking back for my teammate Chris, see if he's got anything left. And roll the dice here a little bit. Let Nick open up a gap off the front like he's doing right now. But I figure, you know, Alex has a teammate in Brian. I have a teammate in Chris. It's very unlikely this late race attack is going to go away. And sure enough, there goes Brian to chase it down. And I'm just going to slot right back in, get pretty good position. Still looking back here, a little bit too close to the front. Fourth wheel's no good. So I'm going to start calling for my teammate Chris here in a minute because it needs to be a lot faster than it is. I mean, 27's fast, but lead out on the last lap, it's got to be cranked because the issue with a slow pace under 1K to go is boom, just like that, counterattacks. And this is exactly what I didn't want to happen. So I don't know if you heard, but I leaned over to Chris. I was like, just keep it fast. So I want him just to empty the tank now, get to the front, make sure I don't get any more swarm than I already have. And now I'm liking my position. The problem I'm having are the 3-4 guys that are off the front and all those little mini gaps that are opening up. So again, you can hear me screaming at Chris. I'm like, empty the tank, go for it. And take one more peek back. I realize Alex is on my wheel at this point. But I'm on Alex's lead out, Brian, right in front of me, who is the master of 1K. And you're going to see him wind it up here. As soon as Chris peels off, Brian takes over because, 34 miles an hour isn't fast enough. He's got to crank it up to 38. And I'm going to pause it right here because I want to talk about the most important part of this sprint. So you got Brian leading it out like a wild man. We're going 38 miles an hour already. And we're starting to pick up the remnants of that early attack from about 1K to go. You can see up on the right, there are a few guys who are falling back, going much slower than Brian's ridiculous lead out. And Alex opens up his sprint and starts passing me on the right, which ends up being a big problem for him because he ends up getting boxed in by those slowing riders. So would have been interesting to see what would have happened if he came out to the left. But this time I was able to come around Brian, catch Tracy right at the line for another pretty thrilling Alviso win. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Smash that subscribe button and leave a thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you didn't. Catch you at the next one.